The internet is shaking again, and this time it's not because a celebrity dropped a song nobody asked for. It's because Bino just smashed the panic button like it was his last lifeline. Shouting that Junior is in danger, the situation is spiraling. And everyone's been sleeping on a disaster that's been bubbling louder than Christian's Twitter fingers at 3 a.m. This is the kind of chaos that makes the Kardashians look like they're running a meditation retreat. 1 minute, the timeline was calm. The next, Bino was out here sounding the alarm like he uncovered a secret vault of receipts the world wasn't ready for. His tone wasn't playful. It wasn't messy. It was something is wrong and y'all better stop acting blind before this turns into a headline nobody can walk back. But then came Hazel E. And when Hazel E enters a storyline, Peace packs its bags and evacuates immediately. She didn't come to comment. She came to detonate. And what she dropped sent the internet into a full meltdown, questioning motives, loyalties, and who's really protecting Junior. This isn't drama anymore. This is a warning shot. And the mess is just beginning. The day started normal. Birds were chirping. Influencers were posting fake motivational quotes. The world was spinning peacefully. And then, without warning, Bino busted through the digital door like a man who just saw the truth and wished he hadn't. His voice was shaking, his words coming out fast. And the internet felt that familiar jolt, the kind of jolt that says, oh yeah, something crazy just happened. Bino didn't warm up. He didn't tease anything. He went straight for the jugular, declaring that Junior is not safe. Not maybe unsafe, not could be in danger, not slightly concerning. No, he said it with the conviction of a man who's seen too much and realized the receipts are hotter than a skillet left on high. And suddenly everyone froze, eyes wide, scrolling fingers stiff. Because anytime someone close to this messy universe starts speaking in warning tones, you know you're about to witness a digital earthquake. People immediately started arguing. Some claimed Bino was overreacting. Others insisted he was the only one telling the truth. And then you had that group of chaotic spectators who show up to every scandal like it's a premiere night. They didn't care about facts or context. They just wanted drama, tea, and screenshots for later. And oh, did Bino give them something to screenshot? He began breaking down how things surrounding Junior have been weird for a while. Strange decisions, questionable moves, odd energy that nobody could fully explain but everyone felt in their bones. The kind of strange that whispers, something's not adding up, even if nobody says it out loud. People brushed it off at first, but Bino made it clear, ignoring the signs is how things end badly. The internet leaned in a little closer. What made this scarier was the way Bino said it. Calm, firm, direct. Not messy. Not clout chasing. Just a man looking dead into the storm and calling it what it is. He laid out the patterns, the inconsistencies, the behaviors that made him concerned, and you could practically hear the collective gasp of every viewer watching, because when someone like Bino, who rarely goes into alarm mode, finally does, it feels like the moment in a horror movie when the music drops and you realize the monster isn't hiding anymore. It's standing in the doorway, but the real shock came when Bino hinted that the danger wasn't random. It wasn't an accident. It wasn't fate being dramatic just for fun. No, he suggested there were people contributing to the chaos. People playing games with Junior's safety. People making reckless choices while pretending everything was fine. And that's when the comments section turned into a full-on courtroom. Everyone started throwing names, theories, timelines. Some blamed the environment. Some blamed the family. Some blamed destiny, astrology, and Mercury being in retrograde because they ran out of actual explanations. But Bino didn't point fingers yet. He just kept repeating that something is wrong and it's being ignored by the people closest to him. People begged him to spill the full details. They asked for names. They begged for specifics. But Bino didn't go all in. Instead, he dropped just enough hints to make the internet lose its mind. Just enough clues to raise eyebrows. Just enough tension to make everyone realize this wasn't just a rant. It was a warning wrapped in frustration. He explained that he's seen patterns behind the scenes, and Junior's environment has become unstable. Too much chaos. Too many distractions. Too many questionable decisions happening around a child who didn't ask for any of it. And that word child hit hard. because suddenly the drama didn't feel like entertainment anymore. It felt like a dangerous mess spiraling out of control. Then Bino said the line that shifted the entire mood online: "If something happens to that boy, it won't be an accident." That sentence spread faster than a meme during a celebrity breakup. People screenshotted it. People reposted it. People added dramatic background music to it. Everyone stopped and said, "Wait, what is he talking about?" Speculation erupted. Twitter threads exploded. TikTok detectives began analyzing clips, comments, and past live streams like they were solving a federal crime. Grown adults pulling up old interviews, rewriting timelines, and connecting dots with the seriousness of undercover agents who suddenly found purpose in life. Bino didn't stop there. He said he'd seen enough poor judgment, enough unnecessary drama, and enough behavior that made him uncomfortable. He emphasized that the people who claim to be protecting Junior aren't doing enough. That there are too many distractions, too many public meltdowns, too much reckless energy for a child who just deserves normalcy. This is where the internet started to pick up on what he wasn't saying out loud. They began filling in the blanks themselves, and the blanks were loud. Comments poured in asking if he was talking about parenting, about home environment, about certain influences that keep popping up in headlines like an unwanted sequel nobody asked for, but then things took an even darker turn. Bino hinted that there are people actively trying to silence anyone who speaks out on Junior's behalf. People who get angry when concerns are raised. People who twist narratives to make themselves look innocent while the situation worsens behind the scenes. The reaction was instant. People felt like they were watching a real-life thriller unfold. Every sentence from Bino felt like another clue. Another breadcrumb leading to a truth that nobody wanted to say out loud but everybody felt, and that's when the dominoes started falling. Fans pulled up old clips of disturbing behavior. Others pointed out inconsistencies in stories. People started noting how certain individuals seem more obsessed with public perception than actual responsibility. And once the internet starts connecting dots, they don't stop. They start drawing entire murals. Suddenly the storyline wasn't just about Junior. It was about the adults around him, the chaos they create, and the consequences they pretend don't exist. It became a heated conversation about accountability, about protection, about what happens when fame, ego, and irresponsibility collide with a child's real life. But just as the internet was churning through theories, digging through archives, and preparing for part 2 of their investigation, something unexpected happened. Hazel E showed up, and everything went from dramatic to catastrophic. Hazel E didn't tiptoe in. She didn't whisper. She didn't add her opinion. No, she burst through the wall like a reality TV Kool-Aid man, ready to drop her version of the truth, a version that made Bino's warning look like a soft introduction. And the moment she opened her mouth, the internet knew one thing for sure: if Bino lit the fuse, Hazel E brought the entire fireworks factory, and the story was about to explode. Hazel E didn't enter the conversation quietly. She arrived with the energy of a woman who has been waiting months for someone to hand her the microphone. And when she grabbed it, she didn't just speak, she detonated. Her words were like digital grenades tossed into a crowd already panicking, turning confusion into full-blown mayhem. She claimed she'd seen the warning signs too. And her description of those signs was so intense that viewers felt like they were listening to the whistleblower of a toxic reality show that hasn't even aired yet. Hazel E didn't hint, she didn't tease, she didn't sugarcoat anything. She ripped the band-aid off and poured salt straight onto the wound. She suggested that the chaos around Junior isn't accidental. According to her, people are playing with his safety like it's a prop in some twisted storyline. And with the way she delivered her statements, sharp, confident, dramatic, nobody could dismiss her easily. It didn't matter that she wasn't directly involved. Hazel E has a talent for amplifying chaos like a human megaphone. And this time, she cranked the volume to maximum. The internet wasn't ready. Within minutes, her comments spread everywhere. TikTok creators stitched her videos with facial expressions that deserved an Oscar. Twitter exploded with quote tweets saying things like, "Not her joining in," "Lord have mercy," and this saga just entered season 4. Memes popped up showing Hazel E with firefighter gear, ready to add gasoline to Bino's flames. But what made her impact even stronger was the specificity of her claims. She described the environment around Junior as unstable, loud, unpredictable, and full of behavior that any child should be shielded from. She said she's watched patterns repeat on social media, and instead of improving, things seem to get progressively wilder. One comparison went viral instantly. Hazel E said watching the situation is like watching someone juggle knives while blindfolded, then acting surprised when they bleed. That line alone was screenshotted into oblivion and turned into reaction GIFs every 5 minutes. Hazel E wasn't done yet. She insisted that people have been ignoring red flags because they're too busy defending their image online. That instead of addressing the chaos, certain individuals pretend everything is perfect, even though the internet can clearly see the cracks forming like a dollar store mirror. She accused certain people, without naming them, of prioritizing drama over parenting, attention over accountability, and clout over stability. It was the kind of accusation that doesn't need names attached because everyone knows exactly who she meant. The conversation mutated into a circus. Fans were making digital courtrooms. Content creators were holding live trials. Even celebrities who usually stay far away from this messy universe started chiming in. Influencers posted cryptic tweets saying things like, "Protect the kids at all costs, and some of y'all need parenting classes instead of ring lights." One comedian even joked, "This storyline got more twists than a Shonda Rhimes finale." Then came the reactions from the people directly tied to the situation. Instead of calming things down, the responses made it worse. Some doubled down, claiming Hazel E was doing the most. Others tried to downplay Bino's concerns, saying he was just emotional. But each attempt at damage control felt like trying to put out a wildfire with a single cup of water. Meanwhile, the public refused to let the issue die. They demanded clarity. They wanted answers. They wanted receipts. Every live stream, every comment, every video clip was suddenly being dissected like a crime scene. People were analyzing tone of voice, facial expressions, body language. They were converting TikTok into a forensic lab. Hazel E threw another curveball when she said she believed Bino wasn't exaggerating but underreacting. That line hit the internet like a meteor. Viewers started freaking out. If Bino's warning wasn't dramatic enough, what exactly did Hazel E think was happening? The story spiraled further when Hazel E suggested that behind-the-scenes conflicts are way messier than what the public sees. She said private arguments are louder, reckless behavior is worse, and decisions made off camera are even more concerning, and that was enough for the internet to go into full conspiracy mode. People dug up old footage from months ago that seemed harmless at the time but now looked suspicious under the new context. Fans pointed out inconsistencies in timelines, contradictions in statements, and sudden shifts in behavior that previously went unnoticed. One clip resurfaced of Junior looking uncomfortable during a chaotic livestream, and that alone set off a wave of panic online. Viewers kept saying things like, "We missed the signs," and "This is painful to rewatch knowing what Bino is saying now." But the most viral moment came when Hazel E implied that someone closest to Junior is intentionally hiding how unstable things really are. She said, "You can't cover dysfunction with Instagram filters." And that quote instantly became the new anthem of the comment section. People kept repeating it like it was scripture. Suddenly everyone felt like they were witnessing a bigger truth, one that nobody wanted to confront. Celebrities continued chiming in. One rapper posted, "Kids ain't part of the storyline, fix that." A reality star said, "Clout will make people blind." Even a famous comedian made a TikTok skit mocking the situation, wearing a fake wig and yelling, "Protect the baby before you post on Live Again." Meanwhile, fans kept asking the same questions. Why does Bino sound terrified? Why did Hazel E feel the need to jump in? Why does the situation keep escalating instead of calming down? Hazel E claimed she spoke up because she refuses to watch another child grow up in chaos for the internet's entertainment. She said she's seen too many influencers use their kids as content but ignore their needs when the cameras turn off. And that statement pierced through the noise like a sharp blade. The reactions were instant and explosive. People who previously brushed off concerns suddenly changed their tone. They started demanding accountability, transparency, and intervention. The hashtags multiplied. The commentary intensified. The public pressure skyrocketed, but then a second wave of drama hit. Someone released Screenshots allegedly showing private conversations about Junior's well-being. And whether they were real or not didn't matter. The screenshots spread so fast that the truth didn't even have time to put on its shoes before the rumors sprinted. Across every platform, Hazel E responded to the leaks by saying, "If y'all think that's bad, imagine the stuff nobody has screenshotted yet." And that comment sent a shiver through the entire timeline. People began speculating that the situation might be far worse than anyone imagined. Bino, meanwhile, remained quiet after Hazel E unleashed her bombshell. That silence spoke louder than any statement. It made people believe Hazel E wasn't exaggerating but simply exposing what Bino was too stressed to say outright. The storyline transformed from messy gossip into a public safety conversation. Parenting experts weighed in. Therapists posted videos analyzing the emotional environment. Even random uncles on Facebook started sharing their 2 cents like they suddenly became family counselors. Everything reached a boiling point when Hazel E said she was willing to testify if anything ever happened to Junior. That declaration made everyone stop scrolling. Who even says things like that unless the situation is truly serious? And that's when the internet realized something chilling. This wasn't regular celebrity chaos. This wasn't typical influencer drama. This wasn't entertainment anymore. This was a storm building behind the scenes. And Hazel E's bombshell wasn't the peak. It was only the beginning of a much bigger, darker truth preparing to surface, and the aftermath was about to shake everything. The moment Hazel E dropped her final warning, the internet froze like someone hit a global pause button. Everyone sat there staring at their screens, trying to decide whether to scream, cry, or refresh the page to make sure they weren't hallucinating. Because if Hazel E was willing to testify about Junior's safety, the situation wasn't just messy. It wasn't just chaotic. It was spiraling into something that felt like a celebrity crisis bulletin, and the silence afterward? Deafening. Bino didn't respond right away, no clarifications. No follow-ups, no backtracking, just complete, unsettling quiet. And that silence made the internet panic harder. People started tweeting things like, "If he's quiet, it's serious, and y'all better wake up because this ain't entertainment anymore." Even fan pages that normally spend their days posting edits and emojis suddenly shifted into investigative mode. Influencers who previously defended the chaos started deleting their old posts. Others posted long paragraphs claiming they always knew something wasn't right, even though they absolutely did not. Everyone tried to rewrite their role in the storyline like they were suddenly moral compasses instead of background noise, but the damage was done. A new wave of commentary flooded every platform. Parents expressed concerns, saying the whole situation felt dangerous. People who normally avoid celebrity drama chimed in, confused and shocked. For once, the entire online world agreed on something. Junior deserved stability. And whatever was happening around him wasn't giving that. The turning point came when supporters began connecting Bino's warnings with moments from past live streams, interviews, and public outbursts. Scenes that once looked like typical influencer nonsense now appeared alarming. Everything was being reinterpreted through the lens of Bino's fear and Hazel E's bombshell. Suddenly, every raised voice, every erratic post, every impulsive move was seen as a bright red flag waving in high definition. Asterisk people said things like, "We laughed at this and we shouldn't have. And this whole time, the signs were right in front of us." And once that realization hit, public perception shifted dramatically. Instead of treating the chaos like entertainment, viewers began treating it like a warning that got ignored for far too long. Meanwhile, the individuals at the center of the storm struggled to control the narrative. Every attempt to deflect felt hollow. Every live rant made things worse. Every defensive tweet pushed people further away. It was like watching someone try to put out an inferno using expired hand sanitizer. Then came the domino effect. Brands began distancing themselves. Subtle at first, likes removed, reposts deleted, but noticeable. People talked about how messy public behavior could affect Junior long-term. Fans who once supported every move suddenly turned skeptical, demanding accountability. And the more the public dug, the more uncomfortable the truth became. Hazel E's claims about toxicity didn't seem exaggerated anymore. They seemed like the missing puzzle pieces that made everything make sense. Her voice carried weight, not because she was perfect, but because she articulated what millions were already thinking but afraid to say. The aftermath grew even heavier when someone leaked a message, allegedly from a family acquaintance, claiming that people behind the scenes have been worried for a long time. No one confirmed it, but the internet didn't care. It spread like wildfire, fueling even more speculation. People began treating Junior like the center of a custody battle the world didn't realize was happening. Fans demanded intervention. They tagged authorities in posts. They sent long paragraphs to advocacy pages. Even gossip blogs suddenly shifted their language from messy humor to genuine concern, and at the heart of it all was Bino, silent, stressed, but undeniably right. His early warnings became the backbone of the entire conversation. People praised him for speaking out when others stayed quiet. They replayed his message repeatedly, analyzing every word, every tone shift, every pause. Hazel E, meanwhile, doubled down. She started responding to commenters, making it clear she wasn't scared of anyone coming for her. She insisted she'd rather be loud and judged than quiet and complicit. Whether people loved or hated her, they couldn't deny she forced the world to face the reality of what was happening. The pressure became impossible to ignore. Suddenly, people within the circle began changing their behavior. Public outbursts slowed. Oversharing stopped. Certain individuals went unusually quiet. Live streams became rare. Posts felt cautious instead of chaotic. It was obvious the criticism hit deeper than anyone wanted to admit, but the world wasn't convinced. The internet knows the difference between genuine change and temporary panic cleanup. And this felt like cleanup. The most heartbreaking part of the story was how many viewers admitted they overlooked serious red flags because they were too entertained. People apologized for laughing at situations that clearly weren't funny. Some said they finally understood why Bino looked exhausted every time he tried to speak up. Others wondered how long it would take before something irreversible happened. Commentators said things like, "Junior didn't ask for the circus, and imagine growing up and seeing all this online." The narrative shifted from scandal to empathy. Junior became more than a character in the drama. He became the child caught in the storm of adults who couldn't keep their lives together long enough to provide in peace. And then, not surprisingly, a new wave of rumors emerged claiming authorities were keeping an eye on the situation. Nothing was confirmed, but the suggestion alone sent shockwaves through the timeline. People started posting things like, "It's about time," and "This is what Bino was trying to prevent." Despite the chaos, something powerful happened. The public united. For once, fans, critics, parents, celebrities, and random onlookers all agreed on one thing: Junior deserved better. The storyline wasn't about clout anymore. It wasn't about gossip. It wasn't about viral clips. It was about responsibility. And that message became impossible to silence. As the dust settled, the consequences became clear. Those at the center of the storm had their reputations shaken, their relationships strained, their credibility damaged. The internet viewed them differently now, not as wild entertainers, but as problematic adults who needed to get their priorities straight. Hazel E's reputation took an unexpected turn. People who previously doubted her started thanking her for speaking up. Even critics admitted she forced unnecessary conversation. She became the unlikely truth teller in a saga full of noise and denial. Bino earned even more respect. His warnings were seen as protective, not dramatic. His concern became the emotional core of the entire scandal. People praised him for refusing to ignore danger signals, even when it meant stepping into controversy. But the biggest transformation was in public perception. People weren't laughing anymore. They were watching closely, judging every move, every post, every decision. And the pressure wasn't going away anytime soon. The world wanted change. Real change. Not PR statements. Not temporary silence. Actual responsibility. By the time the situation calmed slightly, one truth echoed louder than everything else. Junior became the line. The world refused to let anyone cross again. And no matter how badly the adults want to move on, the internet isn't letting this scandal fade until accountability shows up in daylight. Because once Bino sounded the alarm and Hazel E unleashed her bombshell, nothing went back to normal. And it never will. And if you made it this far, congratulations. You officially survived another round of celebrity chaos that somehow manages to get messier every week. At this point, the drama is dropping faster than mixtapes from rappers nobody asked for. And you know, I'm going to be right here breaking Every twist down like it's the season finale of a scandalous reality show written by caffeine and bad decisions, but listen before you run off to the comments to argue, speculate, or summon your inner detective. Make sure you smash that like button like it owes you money. Hit subscribe like you're trying to knock the dust off your phone screen. And turn on notifications because the way things are spiraling, you do not want to miss the next chapter of this circus. Drop your thoughts below. Do you think Bino is the only one telling the truth? Did Hazel E just expose the whole system? Who's protecting Junior? Who's pretending? Who's panicking? Let me know what side of the battlefield you're standing on because the comment section stays hotter than a group chat after somebody gets caught lying. And trust me, the storyline is nowhere near over. The internet never sleeps, receipts never die, and influencers never stop giving us content. Every day is a new chapter, a fresh explosion, a brand new disaster waiting for its spotlight. And you already know this is the place where we drag it into the light, analyze it, roast it, and deliver it with more drama than Zeus Network on a Red Bull sponsorship dot, so stick around. Stay loud, stay messy, stay curious, because around here, the truth doesn't hide. It trends, trend tattle, where the chaos never clocks out. Chaos never clocks out.